You've learned some basics that can often start to alleviate your symptoms. Those level 1 exercises are still staples of sciatica treatment. It should always be a part of your routine. But how do we progress to further reduce symptoms and prevent them from coming back? The goal in level 2 is now continue strengthening your core, hips, and lower extremities, while also improving your mobility and stability. As always, refer to your handouts for illustrations and step-by-step guidance. Consult your universal guide to safe exercise if anything is unclear. These level 2 exercises should be completed 2 to 3 days a week, in addition to continuing your level 1 exercises daily. Let's start talking about a sit to stand or a squat. It's a great exercise to start strengthening our legs and supporting our low back. Let's talk about what makes a squat or a sit to stand effective. The key is form. You always want to lead with your hips as opposed to leading with your knees. So I'm going to stand with my feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart. My hips are going to go back towards the table, and then my hips are going to come forward. So I always tell patients at the clinic, you're thinking hips back, hips forward. So hips back, hips forward. To do a squat, all you're going to do is come off the table, hips back, hips forward. What I don't want you doing is leading with your knees where you end up like that. That's going to lead to more harm than good. You're going to repeat 2 sets of 10 of this, and you're going to do it 2 to 3 times a week during the program that you're creating here. The next exercise we'll be doing here is called a clamshell. A clamshell is a great exercise to start to turn your glute on to help support your low back. To do a clamshell, you're going to lay on your side with the painful side on top. You're going to go ahead and get into position. So the correct position for a clamshell you're shooting for is 90 degrees in your knee, and you want your ankle, hip, and shoulder in a straight line down. Once you're in this position, all you're going to do is lift the top knee from the bottom knee. Perfect. Returning to start position. Each one is 1, and you're shooting for 2 sets of 10 or 20 repetitions. One of the big keys with this one is when you're opening that top knee to not let it roll too far back. So just keep those hips closed. It's a very small range of motion. You should feel it on the side of your hip here. You're going to incorporate this into your routine 2 to 3 days a week. So for the next exercise here, we're going to be doing what's called a cat-cow. It's a great exercise for mobility. At this point in the program, you might be feeling more stiffness and tightness as opposed to pain, and this can be a great exercise to incorporate. So I'm going to have the patient come on her hands here. The key to a great cat-cow is just cueing up your breathing. So she's going to breathe in. Her spine is going to arch towards the ceiling as her head comes down. She's going to breathe out as her spine sags back down and her head comes up. You're going to go ahead and repeat. So inhale and arch, and then exhale and sag. Each one is 1 repetition. You're shooting for 20 repetitions. You can repeat this 2 to 3 days a week in the program that you're creating here. Let's go over side steps. This is a great exercise that you can use at home to turn on your glutes to help support your low back. You're going to need a band at home to do this one. So I'm stepping through the band. The band's going to sit just above my ankles there. To do a side step, all you're going to do is keep some tension on the band, keep your legs nice and straight, and you're just going to sidestep. You're going to pick a target, you're going to go down to your target, and then come back to where you started. Each one will be 1 lap. You're going to shoot for 2 to 3 laps. A couple keys to a great sidestep is keeping your legs straight. A lot of people like to get into this crouched athletic posture. We actually engage more muscles when we just stand up straight. The second key is to not slide your feet like so. You want to pick up your feet to engage both sides of your glutes, and you're just going to sidestep back and forth. You're going to complete this 2 to 3 days a week in the program that you've created for yourself. Next exercise we'll be doing here is called an open book. It's a great way to start to restore some mobility and work into that rotation motion. So to do an open book, you're first going to get into the correct position. We'll be doing both sides for this, so it doesn't matter which side you start on. You're going to get into the exact same position you were in for that clamshell. So you're going to lie on your side, knees are bent to 90 degrees, your ankle, hip, and shoulder are in a straight line down. You're going to have both hands out in front of you, and then the patient's just going to open up that top hand, following her thumb all the way back, 1, 2, 3, and then back to the start position. That's 1 repetition. You're shooting for 20 repetitions. The big key with this is keeping these hips in a solid position here. So go ahead and open up. The big key is not letting this roll back. If you keep your hips in this position here, you'll get that nice little motion through your low back that we're looking for. You're going to repeat this 20 times, and you're going to incorporate it 2 to 3 days a week in the program that you're creating here.